Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, for the third time today, how are you? I hope your Tuesday is going as well as my Tuesday is. Guys, we are, yes, live for the second Heart and Soul Virtual Expo sponsors interview for today. And as you know, if you didn't hear me mention in our previous interview, we are prepping hard for our upcoming Heart and Soul Virtual Expo, which is happening on, as you will see down below, the 5th, 6th and 7th of February. It's only a couple of weeks away, guys. Now, if you would like to come and join us, I'll get my beautiful virtual assistant, Parme, to just pop the link in the comments. You can come and join us in the main Heart and Soul Virtual Expo group for free, guys. It costs you nothing. Come and join. We love to have people come and join us. New people are always welcome. And you know what, as we say with all of these things, the more the merrier, because the more people we have, the more fun we have. So, without any further ado today, darling, people, I would love to introduce you to our beautiful guest that I have with us today. Her name is Lorraine Enright, and she is she's a very passionate, you'll hear her passion today, and powerful soul identity coach whose authentic approach taps into what lays beneath the surface. With integration and inner exploration using actionable steps to create a life aligned with your values, with your purpose and your identity. And again, I have no doubt that Lorraine is going to explain this to you as well. She has experience in NLP, life coaching, Enlightened, coaching code and ancient metaphysical techniques. Oh my goodness, all of that stuff. And really what Lorraine does in a nutshell is she helps you connect with everything that is within you. So that's my explanation, but I would love to bring Lorraine up for her explanation instead, because I'm sure you could do a lot better job than I could. Hello, beautiful.
Hello, Ali. Oh, thank you for that introduction. Thank you.
That's all right. As I said, I'm sure you could do it a lot more justice than I can. By the way, guys, if you're popping on live, say good day. If you're watching the replay, please pop hashtag replay. We love to have hello to Sandy and Parme who are already watching. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of other people watching us. Hello.
Hello,
all
Sandy and Parme. And anybody that then comes on or watches on the replay, hello and thank you for your time.
I love it. Now, as I said, I'm sure that you can explain what you do a lot more succinctly than I can. So, and I'm very excited because I know that you've just had a rebrand in what you, not necessarily what you do, but just in a way you explain it. So I'm going to hand it over to you, my darling.
Okay. As I noticed when you were doing the introduction, you were saying about identity and so on. And yes, Ali, that's what I'm about. It's about all is within you. And yes, we have our human being, our physical world, our physical personality and so on, our human personality. But there is so much more to us than just what we see on the outside or what we see in the world and so on. You have an infinite amount of wisdom and knowledge and skills and capabilities within you. And it's, for me, your truth is within you. Your essence, your truth is your soul, is the connection that you have with the whispers within your soul. And soul will not ever lead you astray. And that's where the identity, we know, like sometimes, where we're from, where we're born, who our parents and so on. But we don't know enough about what is within us, and that everything stems within us. Whatever is outside our world complements us. But if we're reliant on things outside of our world, then we're giving our power away.
And okay, that is really interesting. And I'm not sure if either I haven't been listening properly or before, if like previously, but that says to me, yes, we do have everything within us. But I think the question that brings is a lot of people will say, as we're growing up, we have things happen in our lives outside of us. Would you say that helps form what's within us, or would you say that we're born that way? Does that make sense?
I would say that part of what it is, because remember, we're in a physical world, we're in a human world, we need to exist. So certain elements of what happens in our world, in our upbringing and so on, that brings our human personality into play, our living personality, and how we may perceive things and what we may take on that truly doesn't even belong to us. Like, we will hear something and think, yeah, that sounds pretty good. And even just thinking that's filed now somewhere inside of you. Like, because we take it all in. So, but there's more to us. We have all that infinite wisdom within us, our intuitiveness, and everyone has it. No one is gifted more than another. The aspects that you see when you're looking at someone and you think, oh, wow, they're really tuned in and they can do it better than I can and so on. It's purely, like all things, they've practiced. They've chosen to strengthen that path and to strengthen that connection and so on. It's not that you don't have it, but they chose to go down that path even more so. So I think we're born with it. To answer that question, I believe that we're born with everything and so on. And this is where, unfortunately, in our upbringing and our physical human life, we tend to let that and those personalities take over. Where I'm about bringing your human personality, your spiritual personality in alignment with the oneness that you are. Spirit is the heartbeat of soul, and that is your heartbeat.
That is absolutely beautiful, and I agree with that. And you know, as you were talking, then you said about spirit and intuition, something that I am really honing in on, and I really feel that I got it last year, was listening to my intuition. Right, if something didn't feel right, it was like it wasn't no. If it didn't feel right, it didn't feel right, and I acknowledged it. If it did feel right, then it was something that I actively went after. And like I said, I really only felt that I embraced that fully last year, right? And I'm 52.
And it's an ongoing journey, Ali. That's really what it's about. It just, you uncover so much about yourself, but then you uncover more and you bring more forth and so on. And things that don't serve you, it's not like you go searching for them, but the deeper your connection, the more of the automated patterns or thoughts that pop up are ready to be released.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And that's how that process works. And, sometimes you can follow that intuition, that gut feeling. And as you said, Ali, it doesn't feel right, so you won't do it. But something in one case will feel right. You follow and explore that. And that still may end up being a challenge. But it's a challenge you're meant to go on. It's a challenge that you're meant to be growing and learning from.
100%. And, I had an experience and something I do is I just share about my own personal things. Hope you don't mind, Lorraine. But I had that experience at the end of 2023 where something I thought was very much aligned with me, my personality, everything in my life. And it turned out that it really wasn't. I thought I was listening to my intuition. I thought it was the right thing. But what's interesting now, in hindsight, it's like, well, I know now that it wasn't the right thing, but maybe it was because I learned a lot from that situation.
Yeah, there are no coincidences.
No, it's not a coincidence.
To learn what you learnt.
Oh, yeah, and I did.
And sometimes it's not pleasant, other times it is, but obstacles don't block the path, they are the path. That's what it's about. They are the path. That is your growth, your learning to tap in even more so than expecting it outside of you, and so on. The power is within you.
Oh, and every time you say that, it makes me feel more empowered whenever you say the power is within you, because I think that's something that we just don't embrace enough. Like you say, there's so many outside influences coming in.
Yeah.
Now, something I wanted to, and I don't think I mentioned this in the introduction, but you said you work a lot with spirit. Can you explain a little bit more about that? Because I'm curious.
Spirit is different for people. Some people refer to soul as spirit.
Right.
So, but for my learnings and growing up and teachings and so on that I've had in my experiences, soul is that real essence of the oneness that is. That is where we travel to our next journey and our lifetimes and so on. Spirit is that heartbeat. That's your personality in the spiritual side, and bringing spirit is the heartbeat of soul. And to be able to lift heartbeat, we need to align our human personality with our spiritual personality, like with that essence of who we truly are within ourselves. So hence, that's what I believe. Spirit is the heartbeat of soul. You know, sometimes you've heard where you'll see someone or you'll come across someone and then someone will go, oh my gosh, aren't they so spirited? Aren't they really, you know, that's embracing all of you, not just your ego personality side type thing.
Yeah.
So that's how I refer to spirit, but many refer to it spirit as soul, as universal, so on. That's how they see spirit.
Or spirit as, you know, like, I mean, a lot of people will say spirit's ghosts, you know. Or,
that's right.
You even mentioned that before when you said, you know, when we move on to the next plane or whatever you believe in, you know, that's your spirit.
Yeah.
So your soul and your spirit are still remaining, even though your physical body doesn't.
Yeah.
Or am I going? Tell me if I'm going off in the wrong tangent.
Yeah. No. So your spirit is you know, still part of your soul. It's still part of what is, but and all that is, and it, you know, to me, it is your soul that moves on, but there is a spirit that sparks within you still that comes with you. That is part of you. That is the heartbeat. That's the heartbeat of who we are. Spirit is the heartbeat of soul.
Why do I get goosebumps when you say that? I don't know. I'm just getting them
beautiful. It's
really
beautiful.
Literally had goosebumps. Oh, it's still happening. Oh, stop it.
No, that's a beautiful feeling. Beautiful energy. Love it.
Is. I love it. No, I'm just embracing it for a second. It's hard to do an interview, but I'm just embracing it.
That's good.
So, Lorraine, let us know, like, how specific, in a more specific way, how you work with your clients, because we mentioned before that, you know, you do NLP, Enlightened coaching code, ancient metaphysical techniques, and lots of other techniques. So, what kind of techniques do you use in your coaching?
So, I incorporate many modalities. And I also have a beautiful technique that over time has, you know, been created and downloaded for myself to be able to bring forth and use. So, you know, it is working with the mind. The mind is a key factor that will lead us astray. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
So, and there's, you know, we hear of the soul and we hear about, you know, the heart is the gateway to soul. But when we're coming to being our physical human beings and our spiritual, that can be a challenge, you know, like, and if we really want to get to the depths of what's there, we also have an etheric mind, which is outside of us. And we need to be able to align all of these within us. And hence, there is that missing link to soul. And I believe that is part of our solar plexus. That's our divine will. It's our divine worth. It's our purpose. It's our passion. it's our courage, it's everything that, you know, is very strong within us, our gut feelings and so on. It's not just our heart. And when we can align those, the mind to have faith, to come into the trust of heart, and then with both of them, they align into the gateway, through the gateway of soul, and then you have your divine worth. And you couldn't get any better than that. When you're in that power and you're in that essence, your identity, you hold the power. It's powerful. So it's still working with the logic stuff and all the mind chatter and things like that, but teaching to be able to really understand the difference of working and listening to soul.
That's right.
It's not your head talking. It might appear that way, but it's not. And so the more you practice, the stronger the connection, the more in flow you'll be and aligned. Yeah.
And do you find that, and as you're talking, this question's coming to me, do you find that a lot of people find that their head and their heart or their soul or whatever are working against each other sometimes?
Work against each other, did you say?
Yeah,
they do.
Like, fighting each other. Your brain saying one thing, your heart saying another.
It's and this is the thing. We need to be able to get the mind to have faith. Faith does not belong outside of us. Many of us put faith outside. Faith must come back within.
Yeah.
You give that mind the faith, and it knows if it comes into the heart, it's trusting. So you've got the faith and the trust. Then you bring those two into soul where your divine worth is. And that's a strong foundation. But they come against each other. And the mind loves visuals. That's the other thing too. Like the mind is very visual. It likes visuals. It's prompted by visuals. And hence one of my techniques brings the visuals in to teach the mind, to familiarize the brain that it is okay to relax, to have the faith, to come into the trust of heart.
Oh, just got another one.
Yeah. It's powerful. It's very powerful.
It is. And as you say that, I sit there and I think, yes, I am a very visual person, which is interesting because that creates a question in my mind. It's like, okay, I'm a very visual person, but I'm also, I feel like I'm quite a spiritual person. So what am I listening to more? Am I listening to here or am I listening to here?
Being visual is something that if your eyes are open, you're not going to be able to take those visuals away if they're stimulating or so on. But when you're having that and getting into your meditative state, what do you do when you do that? How do you come from that mind and come into the heart and stay in the heart, or even further go into soul? How do you do that?
Do you know what's weird actually? What I've been discovering lately is there has, like, up until probably again about a year ago, maybe I'm having a spiritual awakening, I don't know. But up until a year ago, it was mainly visions, right? I was picturing things, but recently it's been colours.
That's a good one.
And I have, something will be happening, or I'll be dreaming, or in the meditative state, and there'll be colours will be coming to me. And then something will. I'm trying to explain it, and it's really hard. My thoughts will alter, or they'll go somewhere else, and then the color will morph into, like, oh God, as I'm saying.
And that's you deepening that connection. You're deepening that space, that connection, like, again, the visual is right here. That is the visual that the mind looks at. When you have that familiarity and then you do close your eyes, that's when you could be seeing total green, which means you're in your heart space. You could be, but if you're in a true meditative state, or it's like surrender. If you're in a true surrender, you're in a state of nothingness. You're in a state of
See, I don't think I've ever been there.
Blank nothingness. You sort of wonder where you've just been when you come through, when you come out of it. It's like, was I asleep? Where was I?
Oh, yeah, no, I've been there. That's fun. I've been there for a while.
And I have been asleep. Yeah, it has happened to me where I've fallen asleep. Like, but that's you connecting more with parts and the energy of your body, of things happening when you start to see colors.
Yeah, and of course, when you say that, I go, oh, of course. Like you've just put into words what I couldn't figure out for myself. So thank you.
That's okay.
That's okay. No, it's really fascinating. And Susie's saying that gut feeling is important to take notice of. Yes, and beautiful Michelle, she loves your work, Awaken Spirit.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
Tell me where this new business name Awaken Spirit came from.
It just from soul. It was interesting. It just happened, and it came through, and it sort of kept coming through. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I need to look up to see if that name's taken or what. And as I started to do that, well, next moment my business name's there, it's not taken. Next moment, all things are happening. And the same thing with Michelle, her name kept popping up, and this went on for days. And I just kept saying, what's going on? What am I meant to be doing here? So I reached out to Michelle and said, I've got your name's been popping up. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing or what is going to happen here, but can we connect? One of the best things I did.
Perfect. Love it, love it, love it. Now, I was going to ask a question and it's gone. No, it's coming back. This is what I'm always curious of is how did you get led into this? Because something that I love learning about people in these interviews is like we've all been led into running our own business somehow. What's the story behind how you got into this type of work?
I think for myself, it really did give me the interest with having my mother suffer mental health illness all my 50 years of my life. And to watch her as I was growing up and hearing some of the things that she would say, and I'd wonder about is this real? Because my family do not, like my brothers and my father were just not on this wavelength at all.
Right.
So, one of the things that I heard most of my life was, you're crazy. You're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. That was everything, one of the most prominent things. So that really started to have me always be curious to what was going on and what was sort of happening. And then I had that interest where I'd actually booked in to start some NLP training years and years back, but I was helping my husband in his business, and that's when I became ill. That's when I felt that I had just lost my way. I became invisible, and I literally did, sending out an email with my branding or my name on the bottom and everything, and someone coming back and saying, "Thank you, John." And it's like, hold on a minute. And that's probably my little first step of where I went, hold on a minute, I'm going to reply back to this. My name's not John. My name's Lorraine. And that was when I really realized how bad I was getting, because I did feel invisible. I did feel that I wasn't following what I was meant to be following, and so on. And then when I became unwell, well, that just helped me make the decision of, as crazy as it sounds, postpone my surgery, which was rushed and urgent and everything. Because guess what? I'd already booked in to do NLP training, and I knew nothing about what I was going to be in for or doing or anything. But I was going to go and do that before I was going to go and have surgery. Now, people, again, thought I was crazy. Again, one of the best decisions I made. And my recovery and how I looked at my life then and realized what I'd created for myself was just mind-blowing. And that,
remind me, because wasn't part of the story that you went in for surgery and it was a lot, you said it as the recovery was a lot quicker, or what?
Yeah, in my recovery, you know, my in-laws came the very next day. I had the surgery late afternoon.
Yeah.
They came in the next morning. I was sitting in a chair, and they just kept looking at me very strangely. And I ended up saying, what's wrong? Is there something, like, what is it? You know, yes, I had the drip and everything there, but what's going on? And they went, have you had the surgery? And I said, yes, I did that yesterday. Like, are you sure? And it's like, well, I wouldn't have this here, and I wouldn't be sitting with this cut here. And I said, why? And they said, because you just look so good. And I went, oh, wow. And I didn't use pain relief while I was there in the hospital. They took that away because I wasn't using it. They said I could, and I didn't. And I've hardly took any pain relief when I came home. I took one, I think, endo, and that made me sick. So I stopped taking that. And then after that, it was such an eye-opener, Ali. It was such an eye-opener to how we just create things. And if we don't speak up for ourselves, we're burying things. It's got to go somewhere. It just doesn't like disappear. It's part of our journey, and it's within us, and it goes somewhere. And this is where our health gets affected. We have a natural immune system within ourselves. Our body is designed to heal itself. And yet many of us just don't even take that time to do that, because the outside world controls what we think we should be doing.
I've just had an aha moment. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry, because I had quite a few medical things happening, and they still are, but last year, and I had to go to a specialist, right? And he was saying to me, this particular thing that was wrong with me is that it'll never get better, it'll only get worse. And I just looked at him and I went, I don't bloody think so. I told him where it's at. I said, no, this is not going to get worse. It's going to get better. And he's a specialist in his field, and I get it, I respect that, but he's going, it's not going to get better. There's no cure. And I'm going, no, I don't agree with that. It's not going to happen. The next time I went back to see him, he goes, oh, your readings are better. Oh, I don't know what's right with that. And I just looked and went, I do, because I'm telling my body that, and I'm doing things, and I'm not just telling my body, I'm doing things to help it improve. So, I'm sorry, I just had an aha moment.
Yeah. If you know of Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's been doing doing it before I was born, and as he will let you know, we've been led to believe that we are a victim of something being hereditary.
Yes.
We're actually not. It is not hereditary. But that's how we've been taught and told, and like that doctor saying to you, oh, this is not ever going to get better.
And that was the other thing. It was hereditary as well.
Well, it's improving.
That's right. And even the other day, I went to my GP and she said, we were looking at the readings, blood readings and all of that. And she said, oh, have you got family history of this? And I felt like saying, what does it matter? I really did.
Say that again, please.
She said, do you have a family history of this? When we were looking at the readings of my blood tests, and she said, do you have a family history of this? And I said, what does it matter?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you're not them.
I'm not them. I'm my own person.
You.
Exactly.
You are
and
you.
So I'm telling myself now that, you know, my health is improving. This is what I'm telling my body, and this
you're creating optimal health within yourself.
That's right. Because why? Because everything's within me. See, I think I'm getting it, Lorraine.
Yes. And it's so, this is what I mean. It's so powerful when we really do understand, like, because when they say that we weren't able to change, you know, certain cells in our body, they were looking at the part of thinking that it was the nucleus inside that we couldn't get to, and we can't change that. But it's not. It's the membrane outside the cell that takes all the signals and does everything. So it's your environment, it's your thought pattern. All of that takes effect to your 50 trillion cells of awareness.
There you go. Oh, I think I'm finally getting it. Like really getting it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not that we don't still function in our everyday world and, you know, sort of go off path and have to come back home, like, and hence, you know, that's why I love my technique, because I can, if I really know I'm going off path, and I've got to bring myself back home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I've got to listen within. I've got to come back here and then watch it all flow as it does. Like,
beautiful. Awesome. Just one last thing that I want to ask you is, you know, what is a favorite success story that you might have from one of your clients?
A favorite
success story?
Oh, probably one of them would be this beautiful soul that I was coaching, and she didn't want to have children because she was really nervous about having children, and she didn't want to bring children because, you know, she came from a dysfunctional family and didn't know whether she would be a good parent, and so she was even nervous about getting married and things like that. And to now see the growth in her with 2 children, and two children, and all, you know, her successes that she's had and so on, that she really did step into who she was, you know, not by the environment around her and, you know, everything that happens. Yes, again, that shapes our personality in our human and physical world. But when you understand, you can change that story. You can create whatever it is that you want to create within your life. And like I said, she's got a beautiful family, and they travel around the world. And it's gorgeous. Yeah. And she was probably the youngest person that I had, you know, in that time being coaching someone. So absolutely beautiful.
Awesome. I love that. It's so good.
I love seeing her photos, and I love seeing how much she's growing. And so when I saw her and she was so nervous and didn't want to do this and no, and
and it's great for you, as you know, as a coach as well, no doubt, to know that you had a hand in that. You helped her to understand herself, you know, and everything that's within her.
And, you know, I played a small part in that whole journey, but it was still that small part of her tapping in and knowing that,
of course,
you know, she was going to be a great parent. And, you know, whatever happened in her life and in the previous parts wasn't going to define who she would be as that beautiful person and parent and, moving forward. So, lovely.
So good, Lorraine, so good. Now, if there is anyone out there watching and they're thinking, this beautiful soul, I need to connect with her, I'd love to work with her, how can they get in touch with you, Lorraine?
They can get in touch with me. I do a 30-minute insight call just to have a chat and see what is happening, you know, in your life, and you know, whether I could maybe change or give a bit of different perspective on what could happen or so on. And also to see whether we would be aligned and work together. Like, so I do an insight call.
Lovely. Do you have a link that you can share with us? Maybe
I can.
Sure Parme might have it ready if I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Brilliant. But otherwise, if Parme doesn't manage to put it in, can you feel free to pop it in afterwards so people can connect with you. Because honestly, guys, just in all honesty, just having this discussion with you today, I've had multiple aha moments. I have.
That's so good. That's so,
Good.
like, you know, that's you listening. Give yourself credit because you are listening.
Yes, I think, and it's not to say that I haven't been listening before. It's like that this particular time I kind of go, oh, it kind of went, oh, boom, and hit me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's sunk in. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Lorraine,
but you would have been you would have been listening before, but not actually listening to self to take it in. Do you know what I mean? Where now you're listening, but you're listening to self, and you're bringing it in.
Yes, maybe I think that's the case. Yes, so thank you. You're amazing.
I don't know.
It is always wonderful talking to you, beautiful soul. Oh, look,
thank you. I enjoyed talking with you.
Beautiful Parme's just popped your website in there. So
thank you. Yeah, that's explore if you really want to go on that journey of being you and tapping into that, you know, deep, infinite wisdom that you have within yourself. Everyone has it. Please don't think you don't have it, because you do.
Exactly. I love it, Lorraine. Thank you so much for joining us today, darling. We look forward to having you in the expo coming up. Guys, if you want to really learn some incredible stuff about Lorraine and yourself, please come and join us in the Expo for her lives, because in all honesty, Lorraine's are some of my favorite lives to watch. I just sit there. I don't actually watch them. I listen to them because I just sit there with my eyes closed. It's almost like I go into a meditative listening state, if that makes sense. When you're live. I love it. It's awesome.
As long as there's some informative parts in that relaxation that you're taking in, that's important. Yeah.
That's what I mean, but that's why I listen, because it is so informative and it does make sense to me. So I sit there and I'm probably totally stuffing it up. You know what I mean?
Cool. I love it. I love it.
Thank you, beautiful. I'll just pop you down below. Don't go away.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Mwah. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful, beautiful interview. I absolutely adore Lorraine. Guys, so again, if you want to make sure that you connect with Lorraine, if you'd like to book one of those discovery calls, head over to her website. And as we said, the link is in the comments there. And also, just another mention, if you would like to come and join our virtual expo, which is happening on the 5th, 6th and 7th of February for free, you can come over and join the group. It is free, guys. You don't have to wait until February. You can come and join the group right now. You can actually, check out all our beautiful stall holders who are setting up their stall albums right now. You just go to the media tab and the albums tab. You'll see all the stall albums in there. They're all busy setting them up. You never know. You might even grab yourself an early bargain. Who knows? All right, guys. So thank you for joining me today. We will have another couple of sponsors interviews tomorrow. We've got, let me see, who have we got coming up? We have Sandy Lehman and Lisa McKenzie coming up tomorrow for our stall holders interviews. Guys, I will see you then. In the meantime, have a fantastic night. See you later. Bye.